Ahoy. Is that proper? Hello? Hmm. Oh. Ahoy, Crazy Box. What's good?
Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you. I don't know about Gal here.
Yeah, he's gonna be the one that's gonna be doing it for us. Let me call him real quick.
Jacob, right? I'm not losing my mind. Oh, god damn it. Give me a moment.
All right, I'm back. So apparently he's already recording a stream, so that'll be helpful.
Uh, wait, who is Jacob in particular in this call?
Crazy Box.
Oh, so Jacob. Alright, so Jacob. Sorry.
Yep.
Yo. Yeah, I'm very excited for this interview, though.
Yeah, let me think here. Not having my laptop really sucks. So I kind of wanted to have the deck list up and everything to look over it. Would you happen to have that on Dueling Book for us to look at?
Yeah, just give me a single second. I have my I just have to edit it out to where it was for the YCS because I did make some updates immediately when I got home.
Okay. All right.
Because, like, I already know it's missing. And the extra deck is perfect.
Yeah?
Having two Blackbeard didn't feel overwhelmingly terrible because you always had a way to put him back eventually.
See, it's funny because it wasn't the Blackbeard that I have questions about. Because I'm fine with that. I've been doing that since SP came out.
SP's, dude, SP's so good. I love that card.
Yeah, SP is insane. Especially since Summon Huggin make SP.
And then go SP1, Whitebeard 2.
Yep.
My Appalachia.
Or Chainlink 1 Whitebeard to Chain Block Ash.
You can do that as well if you have a fear of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, you only do that if you're playing on Appaloosa, right? If you're doing the SP being chain blocked.
Where the shit is this? Hold on, just trying to figure out what were the last cards. It wasn't Bell, it was... Oh, right.
Gotta transfer all these notes onto pen and paper.
Oh, right. Alright. I'm ready to go when you are.
Alright.
You want me to send it over? Here.
Can you
I'll send you an export right now. The deck's already out anyway, so it's okay to share.
Yeah, I guess we can just have someone edit it in for us to talk about.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I'll send a link. You can just click on that. It's just the deck list.
Well, I'm
It's
on
in
my phone. That's all.
Oh, fair enough.
Doing the best I can here.
You're good. You're good. So I can go over the cards then, over the list. Yeah. So let me go over these questions. I decided to go in a little blind on this one.
Well, it's that, and then just a couple of questions from the Plunder group. Also, I wanted to make sure that they had a chance to ask things.
Who's Jacob in particular? That was good. Very smart.
Crazy Box.
Oh, so Jacob. All right, so Jacob. Sorry.
Yep.
Oh wow, this is
Yo.
started being recorded. Oh, this is being live streamed.
Yeah, I'm very
Yeah.
excited for this interview.
Oh, excellent. How many people do we have on?
Let me think here. Let's see. Not having my laptop really sucks. So I kind of wanted to have the deck list up and everything to look over it. Would you happen to have that on Dueling Book for us to look at?
All right, so you know what? Let me share my screen then, if anything, just to help.
Yep.
Now I understand. Oh boy. I have a bunch of funny bookmarks, so let me nothing like that. I have a very, like, someone I know played against somebody else and I have their dueling book like match and I called it Will's disgraceful win, and I don't want to go into that story because I know I'm going to get a lot of heat.
It's fine. If people saw all my tabs, it'd be words that I'm trying to use correctly in a sentence, so I get it.
Bruh. Let me see what I can do here. Oh, I know what to do.
You just drag out the tab and then enlarge it, right? There we go. Yep. What am I looking at?
Yo, ghost ship? That's crazy. Yo, we memeing out here?
that Galley doing that? Crazy deck list he's got there.
You. Here. If anything, oh, I actually have a great picture you can post up instead.
Okay.
A Facebook group I'm a fan of, and also this guy like does YouTube videos and stuff. Did a really good job on it. There we go. Looks a little cleaner on that end. I placed it in the general chat.
Okay. I'll chat. Yes, that is a very clean one. If Galley can look at that for us.
Also, funny enough, I actually have another bookmark of dueling versus Triff.
Triff, how'd that?
We just got randomly paired up on ranked. It went pretty well on my way. We didn't have Yord at the time. It was just Plunder versus Eldritch. So Plunder was was bound to do a lot better.
Okay. Yeah, once Yord came out, the deck really took off.
We finally have the option to play against people a lot easier. It's like, oh, I don't care what you're doing.
We finally have an actual turn one strategy.
Well, we've had those for a while. It just took outside resources. That was the issue.
Mm-hmm.
Like Kaiju Slumber technically was the first real version to throw that out there. Because then you give your opponent a kaiju, yourself a kaiju, and it's like you pick the attribute you give your opponent. You have a ship like a Moiric or even a Lys.
Yep, I tried that out when I first saw the archetype as well. I ended up switching into a more control variant with like switcheroo and stuff. I thought it was pretty neat. I found out switcheroo doesn't work the way I think it does.
There's a particular card I'm a big fan of. It was a fun plunder combo. You would just need any Kaiju Slumber and like either Golden Hair or Whitebeard. And the idea was that you would go like Kaiju Slumber, of course, give your opponent the bigger Kaiju. Then you normal summon like Whitebeard, link away into Geonator, use Whitebeard's effect, summon out a Plunder monster, and then from there it's like you can either give them Golden Hair, take the Kaiju back, and then go like Emblem or try to combo off. It's a good time. It was great if you were trying to go out of the way for OTK or if you were trying to put more cards in the grave for the turn after.
Yeah. Sorry, I have to message him because I know he stepped away from the chat.
It's okay.
What's he saying to me?
Hey, yo, is that a rat? No, I'm kidding. Oh, yeah, I was watching a lot of the comments, by the way, from the Joshua Schmidt video and from the, from the Bortle video. Kind of
Yeah.
hilarious, some of the things people were saying. Like, people are very kind. I really do appreciate what people say about me. It was very nice. Some of them, though, were some people that were kind of acting cringe about, like, certain things I did. I don't know. It's like, you're cringe. This is cringe, cringe. And it's like, dude, get bent. I'm having a good time.
It looks like he's got your deck list up. So
Perfect. All right. The beautiful list.
yeah.
All
Hey guys.
right.
Hey guys, this is Crazy Box here with Team Wnax talking to the man, the myth, the captain.
Ahoy, everybody. Let's
Can
go.
you tell us how you did at the event?
Well, we played 11 rounds of Swiss, and I ended up going X and 1, meaning I won 10 times and I lost only once. And then from there, I ended up winning out in top 32. And then I lost out in top 16 to Branded. But in reality, my deck lost to itself. It happens. We brick. Part of the game. We love it.
Was that the 60 card branded list with all the go second stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unironically, I banished 3 cards on the top of the deck, and of course I hit McCurrier, and it's like, "No, he's just gonna combo."
So I guess what all did you face then throughout the 2 days you were there?
Oh my goodness, so many Snake Eye decks. That deck is so free.
Yeah, I think I faced about 6 or 7 of them myself.
I played, like, a couple of Fire King, majority were, like, pure, though, and it just didn't feel right. None of them felt strong enough against the deck.
Hmm.
Um, a lot of the main deck choices felt amazing. I had a lot of questions involving some of the particular cards I went with, so I can give a better explanations on that, especially because 'cause I'm home and, shenanigans have passed.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, so
Let's
let
go with this then.
alrighty.
So you
So,
got
go
my
ahead, go
bad.
ahead.
You can continue.
You're
This is your
you're
list.
good, you're good.
So you got the 3 Whitebeard, the 3 Golden Hair, which is pretty standard, and you had the 2 Black Eyes and the 2 Bluebeard. What was the reasoning on doing the 2 Bluebeard?
So, me personally, I really didn't like the fact that a lot of these runic variants had no real way to play around Droll. Everybody was afraid about it. Everybody was afraid about it. So, Bluebeard to me made more sense putting it to two because you're not only are you giving yourself more ammo, but it's the best discard engine for the deck. Because when you're playing against other archetypes and you're trying to draw into runic cards, trying to add in more resources so that way you can stop them ahead of time. That's really the big idea behind the two Bluebeard. Also, the fact that you're able to trigger his effect in draw phase while Hugin for pitch and discard, that's huge. And then of
Yep.
course, due to the fact that you're able to like summon it out as a free extension, and then like you could use it for Hugin and Bluebeard to make SP. Now you've got Chain Block for SP. You can get rid of Nasty's Appaloosas and various other cards that are just not fun to play against.
Okay. Yeah, that's an interesting way of playing with it. I never thought about doing chain blocks with it.
At the end of the day, drawing one matters a lot more than people expect. And the fact that you're able to just go Bluebeard for constant costs and getting more runic cards to play against your opponent, that could be huge overall in a long grind game.
Yeah. I see you're not main decking the Nibiru. Is that because you didn't think it was going to be impactful enough alone, or?
So over time, I definitely learned that Nib was getting worse and worse and worse in my side deck. So I could definitely say that Nib did not feel great this format. It only came up once, but at the end of the day, I already had enough to just stop my opponent outright, and it just felt like it was a little too overkill. So it wasn't worth it in the end. In the side deck, I'll be honest, some of these cards have to go, and
Yeah.
I definitely have narrowed out what needs to leave and what doesn't. I truly think the crossout designator put in a lot of work. Out of all the cards in my side deck, that card was like the saving grace
Yeah, I
because
know
oh,
when we
go
were
ahead.
talking Evan Spice, I was not ready for me to see a crossout designator in the list, but it makes sense because understanding with this format, the hand traps can kill this deck.
Hand traps is correct, but the biggest thing I used it for, and it was for the entire weekend, Cosmic. I was sick of people trying to drop Cosmic on Field Spell. So being able to just drop it and be like, huh, no, absolutely not. Next game, it felt too strong. It also used it for Ash Blossom as well against Blackbeard, and that just felt like nice. So it was
Yeah,
definitely worth playing.
having that protection is definitely nice. Did you ever think about playing Called by the Grave?
At one point I did. I absolutely hate hand traps. Again, not fun to play against Ash and her big forehead. Um, as much as I love using Called by the Grave, the fact that it's at one, it's like I'm already running one of, so if I'm gonna do that, I want them to have more impact against the end board. That's why Harpies was probably one of the best cards I ran in the main. Because going against like I had to play against Branded eventually one round as well. Played against Voiceless Voice, that was a huge pain, and being able to drop that and chain droplet to it, sending it to grave as cost is just too strong. It came
Hmm.
up too. Um, with that in mind, like the rest of the card choices, like Droplet was mostly for Voiceless Voice. I know that deck has a lot of targeting protection. That's why that and evenly really made sense for that, as well as Cosmic, because all those cards can potentially stop them from their shenanigans or get them the trigger effects early and then continue playing on, trying to get more board advantage over time.
Yeah.
Because eventually, the end of this deck's the deck's main goal is either I'm gonna out resource you until you bow and don't do anything else, and then knock you out, or if I really have to do this, I will mill you out with runic cards. Like I will banish cards from the top of your deck.
See, that's funny. Because one of the things that happened when I first picked this deck up is it was just a couple turns of control, and people weren't ready for the deck to just kill them with like 10,000 damage.
Yeah, like a lot of people were like, "Why are you only running one field spell? You want to get your best cards out." And it's like, well, for starters, the field spell can place itself back into the field spell zone, so you can always have it ready for OTK later on in the game. And you only want to use that search if you're like starting off with no plunder cards, because at the end of the day, it is a -1, and you have to take into consideration: is it really worth playing a -1 if they ash it right away and you don't have a follow up? That's where that understanding came from.
Right?
And then a
Like if
lot
you're playing already, what's not playing with one less card?
exactly. And then from there you also have like a lot of people were commenting on why booty in particular. This is a control deck at the end of the day. It's a control beatdown deck. If I have to go out of my way and summon monsters and put back cards to make it so my opponent can't stop me from beating him out, that's what I'm gonna have to do.
Hmm.
Also, just it's like that card's crazy. Come on, you free call the haunted every turn on your opponent.
Oh
Yes,
yeah,
please.
I'm a
Yes, please.
big lover.
Big fan of Plunder Patrol Booty. That trap
Yeah,
does a lot of work.
yeah, it's really great for the labyrinth matchup because all they have is darks, and you kind of want to fire to start picking away their traps.
Well, that's why we have Evenly and Harpies, Cosmic, again, Runic Spell, Destruction. We have a lot of outs. That's why I like this deck in particular. It's like a it's like a very customizable it's like a Swiss Army knife kind of. That's the best way to explain it. You've got a tool for every single like utility or deck you're going to come across. The only issue in reality for the utility was that some of the side deck stuff was just fluff that's got to be re-edited.
Yeah, so and going over the side deck here, it looks like you had quite a bit of hand traps. With those hand traps, were any of them impactful for you to be playing, or are that mostly just cross out targets for you?
Um, it kind of came. I mean, the Ash Blossom and the Ogre put in a lot of effort. The Pearly player did not like Ogre, and I don't like Pearly, so having the ability of just saying no is kind of nice. Ash Blossom, I'm not a big fan of branded. Just stopping like branded fusion alone just feels good enough.
Yep.
Letting them go like, no, go to bed. So besides that, I mean, Ash is also good depending on what matchup you're going against. Like for the future format that we have coming up for nationals, for example, we're gonna have battles of legend. And like Fire Snake Eye Infernoid is gonna be real, a lot more real than people give it like precedence to. Ash and Ogre will have a better impact against that deck than anything else, in my opinion.
Yep.
The,
And
the
I'll,
only oh, go ahead, continue. My
all
apologies.
right, Super Spice over here, right next to the crossout designator. You got that Dark World puppetry.
Yeah,
Tell me,
I'll be honest. It only came up twice.
really? Wow.
Yeah, no, one deck I played against, it was very strange. I believe it was like round 5. The guy went crazy. Or no, round 6. He was playing, I swear to goodness, I swear to God, he was playing Horus Stun. Horus Stun. Guy was going crazy. It was like Pot of Desires, Field Spell Dump, get a bunch of monsters in grave. So when I caught on that he needed like all these cards in graveyard, it's like, oh cool, I can just get rid of them. Ball in, doo doo
Well,
doo, and then it just
I
dropped on him when he had 3.
play it twice, but did you side it in several times more than that?
Uh, really? I was mostly sided in for the particular Snake Eye Fire King matchup. So
Okay.
against that particular deck, if you're able to drop that spell in draw phase, you're able to stop a majority of their Fire King shenanigans from going off, making them lose a ton of their power plays. That
Yeah,
was the real idea, because the fact it just again draw phase matters, and with that in mind, puppetry was just the best option for that idea.
because
Going
I'm looking at the card for
going.
the
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. My
versatility.
apologies.
Yeah, I'm looking at the card for the versatility that it offers, and I'm looking at voiceless voice being able to rip their Saphira from the graveyard, or
Or
being
they're
able,
low.
yeah, things like that. That they're really not expecting that. Maybe a crow or something, but they're not expecting the ritual spell and that and low all to be shuffled at once, or things like that. Just seemed very versatile in what it could do.
It didn't really come up against voiceless voice. That was actually the one loss I had in the entire like Swiss event, or like in the 11 rounds. And it's because, in all honesty, I just don't have enough time against that deck, and I wasn't expecting as big as a representation as it had that event.
That's fair.
Um, with that in mind, though, I did eventually end up beating that deck later on in the tournament against a very interesting player by the name of Bill Way, the written feature. That match will probably be one of my most cherished matches I've ever had, and it's because Bill Way is probably one of the most funniest players you'll ever come across. He's a very funny dude.
Great. Was that day one that you faced him?
Actually, I faced him in day two, written feature match. I've
Okay, so
got the article link as well that we can place in the video if you want.
yeah, we could do that. That's fine. So you took that night to take a little bit of time to learn up on the voiceless matchup, then I take it?
Oh yeah, no, I definitely. I actually gave a call to a good friend of mine, uh, and we talked for a while about just like, hey, what should I stop? In terms of that archetype. My buddy Johnny as well. Actually, he gave me a big sense of idea of like, hey, just stop low. Just don't let low do anything. Stop that card. And also, Saphira is not fun. So when he made mention of that, and I was able to play out. I eventually realized, of course, rivalry is just the best card against that deck.
Yeah.
They need they're a
Broken.
warrior and a fairy. That's just not working.
I guess going over the extra deck here, it seems pretty standard. Just a couple of questions I have about it is the third Huggin. How often did that come up?
A lot. And the reason being is that when you're doing the Plunder combo, where if you have two runic spells and the tuner, doesn't matter which tuner, as long as you've got one, because at the end of the day, your hand's going to be 5 to 6. You'll always have the discard.
Mm-hmm.
The third Hugin is there for protection. You need it in order to protect the field spell, in order to protect your board state. Board breakers exist for a reason. I'd rather not be caught with my pants down around my legs, because that happened. That almost happened to me in the tournament. One of the guys actually managed to drop harpies on me in the middle of our match, and I presented to protect it. And that was after going through two Hugin for the combo. So it's needed.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess when everyone's playing stuff like that, because the other thing is like I know before we were on two Garys, but that's because we were on what XYZ was this? The drunken Baguska. We were on Baguska.
Oh
And
goodness me, number 41. Yep.
yeah, you dropped the Baguska in favor for the second brand. So I guess how well did that turn out? Did you miss the Baguska at all?
I never played it. I thought it was very lame. I'm not a big fan of a ton of cards that say no playing, but like having one in the extra deck that's just like, yay, boo. It's like it barely came up. Also, the other issue I have with that is like if you're gonna run Baguska, a majority of the time you're gonna waste your Jerry usage, and it's like I'd
Hmm.
rather like this is a control deck that needs to have more resources in its availability. I'm not gonna risk it for just a stun monster that's hanging out that could be outed with an imperm. Not worth it.
See, the way I typically looked at it though was when you get hit with Shifter was when I was mostly going into the Baguska route, right? So did
Yeah,
you there was a
like
problem for you all, or
I
you
mean,
just didn't
going
have
the
Shifter?
thing. So the thing about Shifter that a lot of people have to understand for Runic, we can wait a turn. At the end of the day, I guarantee you, my opponent is not going to put up enough in terms of a negation or board shenanigans to stop two Runic summons of at least a Jerry to protect me. At the end of the day, as long as you're able to at least keep some form, shape, or manage of control, you're able to play. And on top of that, we have the pilots for a reason. If you have to use a single runic spell in any Plunder monster to summon out a Blackbeard, who cares? You've still got a Moira and another draw on deck.
Yep.
You can't be afraid to play against Shifter. Just because you lose a little bit of draw advantage doesn't mean that you're not going to lose outright. It's even if you have to, a single Slumber and a monster and a pilot on board protects you against most things.
Yep. That makes sense. I guess,
And
I was just always scared of Shifter because of resource
Flounder Ace, right?
ahead.
We're
But
going to be honest. We're going to talk about this matchup because a lot of people like to admit it. Flounder Ace is not fun to play against. Anyone who plays that deck, except a couple of homies of mine, usually aren't having a great time at playing the game, and so they chose to do that.
yeah.
That is my true opinion on the deck. Also, with that in mind, originally it was one of the worst matchups for Plunder Patrol. But because of the runic cards, it's like, oh no, they want their cards banished? Okay, so the whole game plan changes from who cares what kind of board control they try to put out and what negation of monsters they have. You weren't going to use your pilots anyway to summon anything crazy. It's more just going to be, all right, mill out. Yeah, have your cards, keep searching, do me a
Yep.
favor, keep getting rid of everything because once they run out, they realize they can't play anymore.
Yep, that's basically how I've been doing it too.
It's kind of like, oh man, if we're gonna do a callback, it's kind of like the episode with Yugi versus that one player that was controlled by Merrick, who had Slifer. The idea is that like, oh, if I can't get rid of these guys, forget it. I'm gonna make the player lose. Who cares about the monsters? So that was the idea. Make him deck out, and it
Uh,
works.
so, is there any changes that you would suggest with this deck? I know you said you didn't like the side deck very much.
Yeah, the side deck definitely has to be changed. I don't think talents came up like once, and it wasn't the best ever. I just threw it in there definitely because it was like, all right, it's a one of, and I needed to fill in. It's like not a bad card going second. If you have to go first and you're expecting a ton of hand traps, it's there for a reason. It's also a cross out target that
Yeah,
came up actually a lot more than I
that
expected.
that's what I was seeing. Yeah.
Because like having your opponent go like, oh, effect to take your ship, and it's like, no, go to bed.
So, what would you suggest instead of the talents? Are you looking for something that's gonna help?
You def. I think I think the hand trap lineup definitely has to change. Right now, I'm still in between testing like removal cards and or like board breakers. Because not all hand traps are made the same. Some have better activation requirements compared to others. Excuse me. Little
Have
guy.
you tested with that Ashen card yet?
Vitos, the particular
Yeah,
one, the field dragon or the
yeah,
pyro.
that.
Um, I can understand the idea behind it, but like, am I really afraid of Tenpai dragons?
I don't even think it's about Tempai Dragons. I think it's the fact that you can do it on anyone playing with a field spell, and then you can use your own runic spell, pop it, and board wipe them.
Also, it is a dark as well. I had it's not a terrible idea. The only issue I find with that is that like if you're going second, you're gonna want to play that so bad against a field centric deck just to get punished by a talents. Like that card is asking to hit with talents.
If you're
At
going
least,
second, you can just hold it till your main phase, right?
I guess at that point it wouldn't be a terrible idea. It's just I mean, hmm. It's definitely to consider, Jacob. It's definitely to consider. I like enemy controller doesn't seem terrible, lava golem, or even sphere mode because I'm telling you now, we're gonna be entering a format once that Battles of Legends hit to where we're gonna have a lot of monsters out that are all about just saying, hey, no doing anything, go to bed.
Yep. I feel you on that one.
And it's like
Formats.
I'd rather give up a normal summon and pitch one of my tuners anyway to just plunder combo on your face. So that's the whole idea with that. Enemy controller's an idea because you always have Hugin to use as fodder. Also, being able to use it to avoid like imperm shenanigans and like targeting shenanigans feels a lot better as an idea, but still it's got to be tested for in terms of ratio equality.
Yeah. Was there any specific side patterns that you were doing when you're facing against Snake Eye?
Well, definitely the crossouts definitely came in if I knew I was gonna be able to go first. Like if I knew I was gonna have control of that game, rivalry crossout definitely going in, because then it's like, all right, I'm gonna try to yord lock you. You don't play any fiends that are cool. Here's a fiend token. Yord lock is fun. And to give reference to those watching what don't know what yord lock means, Plunder Patrol Ship Yord, the synchro pendulum, it has the ability of giving your opponent a token and being able to flip rivalry and telling them, hey, you can only play a fiend based set of monsters. It's very strong, and like it feels too good not to play. You know, you make them wriggle and squirm.
Yeah. And is there a reason why you played this specific variant over the other ones?
So, if we're going to talk about this, we have to be honest. Snake Eye is a deck, and it's going to be in the room like it was for the majority of the event. If you're
Mm-hmm.
going to be playing Adventure Package, your token will get blown up by that Promethean Princess 9 out of 10 times. And it doesn't feel good because now all of a sudden you've just played a card in order to be able to. And think of this, you're not only playing an engine to get you a monster that's going to get destroyed, but this engine is also running four bricks alone that don't do enough on their own. That's a problem. And I think we can all agree on that. Then when it came to the kaiju variant, Snake Eyes does exist, so do hand traps. Uh, Ash on Kaiju Slumber does not feel great, no matter how many crossouts you can try to run, because they'll always have more against you on that end. Because like you don't want to run crossout in the main for like just particular things, because then you're still going to run into other shenanigans the crossout does nothing for.
Right.
That's like crossout gets its best effective use when you're dropping it against board states or like dropping against cards that you know for a fact are going to be your worst enemy that you don't want to see. With that in mind, let's go back to the question. My apologies, Jacob.
Oh, that's fine.
So against other variants, I mean, I would kill to play pure plunder again. Just being able to look at people and be like, yeah, flip booty. Here's Raigeki. Here's a gamma. Like, you know, and being able to laugh at it was a good time.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, the times call for the fact that you need a little help with this engine, and that's okay. That's more than okay. So at first, I didn't like the runic engine. It wasn't fun playing against it. But after a while, once you learn, like, hey, it's not impossible to beat, and it could still keep up a good amount of control. Also, it pairs well with a very cool pirate deck. Come on, well, why not? Also, on top of that, it's an FPS, and you're literally giving a bunch of different weapons to pirates. It just thematically, if it makes sense. Come on, how are we not doing this?
I know with the deck, facing against the Runic Plunder variant is very mind numbing. You just want to bash your head in against the wall. But when you're piloting the deck, it is the most fun you'll ever have.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like my best description of playing this deck. It's kind of like when you hit the 4.5 minute mark on Freebird. That's when you know, oh man, everything is gonna be crazy for the next 5 to 10 minutes, and your opponent's gonna go crazy thinking, what the heck is going on? So it's a fun time.
So I guess with all this being said, I gotta ask, how do you feel about this deck in the coming formats that we have?
it it just needs some fine tuning, and I think it'll definitely be one of the best, if not one of the best decks in the room. You just need a pilot that knows what they're doing.
Yeah. And that's the hard part with this deck is it takes a lot of skill to be playing this properly.
You need a lot of you need a lot of technical skill. That's the big thing a lot of people like to mention. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's particularly true. I'm just a dude that's playing it. Me personally, I'm just having fun. It's a bunch of pirates. I enjoy them. Yeah. How could I
Well,
not?
I gave this deck off to one of my teammates, Gally, here to play with a Star Charity event, and he did a deck profile of it, and he pretty much said right off the bat, if you're not good at technical play, don't touch the deck. You will not enjoy it. So,
Yeah, that's definitely true. Did we have any other questions by the way from the Plunder group or anything else that's coming up?
Let me see. I'm reading over these questions right here, and I think we've covered most of them. One of the guys wants to know what's the main combo. What's your basic combo you're going with here? If that's
Okay.
something, sure, I
That
can link a video for it.
so I don't have a particular video to link it out to, but it's really simple. Two runic spell. So at the end of the day, you just need your hand needs to be comprised of two runic spells and one of the plunder tuners, and then the other two cards can be freebies, as I like to call them, or discard fodder. The whole point is that you're going to go for draw phase Hugin because you want to avoid Droll and a bunch of other shenanigans. Also, Veiler and a bunch of other cards. Go for the Hugin search for the first route, but don't pitch the tuner. Try to get that field spell out because then from there, if it's successful, you're then able to go, activate field spell, normal tuner, hopefully being Whitebeard because you get a lot more advantage out of it than gold. But if it's gold, it's fine. It's still doable. At that point, you want to go for the second runic spell after you synchro away the tuner and the first Hugin to make Coral Dragon. If it's Whitebeard, it's going to be triggering, and then you can chain a runic spell to that to summon. You still get the second Hugin out, and then you get a body out, or you can just go for regular summon Coral Dragon with golden hair and Hugin. Second Hugin comes out, gets you a search, gets you the fountain draw because it protects it. Then from that point, you're able to just summon Yord, get a free draw from the Coral Dragon going to grave because Coral Dragon's tuner, Hugin is not. And then from there, if you're able to see what your opponent's playing based on the runic mills you get. So, for example, if I'm able to slumber or even use tip, and I find out it's like Snake Eye or particular a matchup that I know like doesn't have an attribute I need, then from there, Yord's going to create that token that I want to play against. Like, let's say for example, it's Brandon, right? I know they have a lot of lights and darks, so what's something they don't have? If it's an Earth, I can make a Yord on their turn and benefit off of them playing, giving me more advantage overall, getting you into more Hugin or more field spell draws and etc. Or give them a fire, stop their branded lost, the continuous spell, being able to, constantly banish and get rid of cards also comes into favor. And that's just one of many examples that can definitely work for that.
Right, right. And now, if you open up Golden Hair, do you end up having to burn your Gary, or do you still go with Huggin for the second summon?
So majority of the time you want to go for Huggin for the second summon because the Yord in your graveyard, or excuse me, the Yord needs to have a card in graveyard, and you're gonna leave it there in terms of either after the draw from the coral to determine what your next plan of action is. So, for example, let's say I have still one runic spell left. I can still use that particular moment to summon a Gary out because then it gives you more advantage over time, gives you an extra monster in terms of like synchro summoning or even making Blackbeard out with like that and the token that you're going to get from the Yord. As long
Mm-hmm.
as it doesn't matter what you have on your field, as long as you have a body and that Yord can go off and give you a plunder token, Blackbeard's hitting the board anyway, and
Right.
that's what you want, and that's the most important part. Like that link too is like the heart and soul of the deck.
That is definitely true. Uh,
um yeah, so with that combo line, basically the idea is that because you're drawing constantly and providing yourself, this attribute, you're still able to, like, for example, use Blackbeard in the draw phase of your opponent's turn after summoning a first list, getting a secondary card, and now all of a sudden that also opens up for protection against destruction. Because then Hugin can pop out if your opponent tries to harpies you, because you won't have anything in the extra monster zone.
mm-hmm.
Like, moving Blackbeard out of the way is important. Like that matters a lot more than people give it credit for.
Yeah, I mean, so like Gold Pred's a better pirate deck.
You can say that all you want, but I will duel you in this interview, and I will prove you wrong.
I think he's down for it. He's a Gold Pride enthusiast.
I'll play, but I need to update with the new support first, and I haven't tested with it yet.
My man, your best monster loses to Book of Moon.
The best monster, thank you very much.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Who did you say was the best monster in Gold Pride? If you weren't saying Captain Carey, I don't want to talk.
Oh no, the trap's the best monster. Captain Terry is just a means to an end.
Yo, Yo, don't treat her like that. She ain't no side hoe.
Is.
What's up?
Uh,
I'm in here. I seen your YCS top the captain. I'm part of Team Wnax here with the guys, just tuning in and learn about your deck and your top, man. So appreciate you stopping by and talking about your experience and how the deck works, and talk to Pyful about it too because he loves that deck.
yeah,
Oh
pleasure's
yeah.
all mine. I was invited by him, and at the end of the day, my biggest goal for this deck is that to have more people to play it. If it means going out of my way and giving lessons or teaching people how to play, I do that on my server. The shipyard is a home for all people. I always like to make a mention of that.
That's
It doesn't
fucking tight.
it
The
doesn't matter who
shipyard.
it doesn't matter. Yeah, it's a real Discord server, man. We've got a good amount of people, and these are dedicated good people that just want to help others succeed. We're all about having fun and having a good time, and I think that's what the biggest thing a lot of this community is missing. No
Yo,
one's
low
having
key.
fun.
That sounds lit. The Plunder group's retarded.
Punter group's great.
Or not the
That's
Plunder group. Sorry, the
No,
Gold.
a lot
I
of
meant the
it's
Gold Pride group. I meant the Gold Pride group.
Oh,
chill.
okay.
Yeah, the Gold
I
Pride
thought
group's awful.
No, the plunder group,
it took us.
A plus.
I don't know what y'all said, but okay.
I said the Plunder group. It took a while, but we started to kick it off.
I mean, yeah, the shipyard is strong and healthy. We've got a great amount of people in there. We have wonderful artists who are constantly drawing just these beautiful paintings for us and every opportunity they
Is it
can.
Melfi group artists though? Are they as good as the Melfi group?
No, 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 no. You have no idea. This one particular artist by the name of Trizen, you have to see what he draws. It's just works of art, and he does it for fun. It's
Can you
just fun for him.
can you send me some pictures that he's drawn? Actually,
I mean, as long as you get permission from him. I mean,
or
it's if he shared it in the shipyard, though, I don't think he'd be upset.
yeah. And what's
Just
his name?
Trizen. Hold on. He just draws like wonderful art in general. Like he's drawn these amazing pictures of like oh god, of like the Dinomorphia monsters and like the whole archetype as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
He does a very good job in terms of like clean artwork and design. So
You know, the whole archetype is trap tricks. What are you talking about?
yo, what's chill there? Different kind of deck. Not a fan. Yo, if the deck I'm playing doesn't have fun hats and a bunch of boats, I don't want it.
So you are gonna play Gold Pride?
I mean, it's not like I haven't already. I've tried, man. Captain Carry is a cool monster, but
Oh,
like
I cannot touch that deck.
He's
it
weak.
takes a little bit. Like I like it with if I had to play Gold Pride, I unironically I like playing that with like the Punk engine just because it gives it so much advantage.
Yeah, every time I touched that deck, I was just getting clapped on by nibs.
That's why you made that cross out nib. Duh.
Duh, why
Oh,
don't you just join the format on this idea? It's
the
such
way I
easy.
played at that the one regional when I played the deck
Mm-hmm.
was so gross. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out what I'm doing about this.
Are we really afraid of a big rock? Oh yeah, that's another thing. A lot of people like to give like shenanigans like, "Oh, Nib beats that deck on Plunder Patrol."
It does.
It doesn't.
Not at all.
Yeah.
It's like, "Oh, I'm gonna nib you now, or I'll nib your Blackbeard." Cool. If I haven't used my tuner engrave or my bird in hand, you bet your sweet bippy I'm gonna get more monsters out and dunk on you.
Yeah. Cool. I still made lists. What do you want? I'm still.
Boo doo doo.
Yeah. Like I was telling Kyler, like at no point is it ever safe to Nibiru the deck. The only time it is when they're using Blackbeard effect to stop them from drawing one, and that still feels like crap.
Yeah, I had an opponent actually drop a nib on me just to go, "You still get a ship?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he proceeded to call a judge just for him to go like, "Yeah."
It's
Yeah.
a calling like just like combos is kind of cringe.
Oh, I had a
They
cool
called
play
they called
against
the judge
someone.
on you just because you combo. That's crazy.
Yo,
I-
some people just don't want to read. That's why I love Plunder. Read! Come on, just learn to
It's so
read.
fun when you make the Blackbeard and you quick effect tag on summon, and they go like, "Oh, if I nib, what happens?" Yeah.
I still got a card, G. Sorry. Yeah, I may not draw one, but I'm still feeling pretty cool with a boat. By the way, now I'm gonna make Blackbeard again, and guess what's gonna be summoned on your turn? Another boat.
Right.
How do you feel like Plunder Patrol will be moving forward with like Tempai and Ubel in the format?
So Ubel is all about destruction. So and like they're all about attack and like getting your opponents to attack, I'm assuming, right? That and like destruction, like force destruction. I know
Yeah.
there's I know they're heavy reliant on their field spell, so cosmic and destruction, get rid of that. Also, a majority of the time, if you're playing against Tenpai or that deck in particular, all your monsters are going to be in defense and bigger than what the Tenpai monsters are doing. And if you have to get rid of their cards during your, during the battle phase, the one thing nobody talks about is, hey, Brands of Fire, they only summon fires. Why is this field spell scary?
What about the Biden Dragon play where they forced you into attack in the damage step? Is there anything to mitigate that within the deck?
List negate.
Yeah, List negates that as well. Also, you've got to remember that, like, as long as you're able to get rid of the field spell early, like any smart Magic player would do, you're never gonna lose to that deck. It's very corny, in my opinion. Cause like, oh no, Heat Wave. I'm gonna set a runic card that's just gonna take the hit here. You're not killing me.
Can you normal someone under Heat Wave?
Yeah.
No, right?
Unless they
No.
play Magic on you, then
Also, you have to remember this with
probably
Plunder cards as well and Hugin. You're able to discard Bluebeard, Whitebeard, and get a summon from the main deck off of those cards or off of the Whitebeard in particular. It's not instant. Like all of a sudden, it's like, oh no, Heat Wave. Set a bunch of cards. You better have the out. Because as long as you're able to summon a body and protect yourself, you're fine. The deck
yeah.
doesn't have any true piercing unless I'm losing my mind, right?
No,
No.
it doesn't.
Doesn't. It's just they're soft, so like they'll easily climb to like 30K. You know, that's the thing about it, and they're able to do shit in damage step, which allows for a lot of card effects to not be able to be activated. So that's the only reason I was asking about it, just to see how it like matched up. Just
I
since the
gotcha.
format's pretty early, and I'm not very versed with Plunder. Like my knowledge is from
Okay.
what Crazy Box has done.
So simple enough, man. Just the fire synchro monster. That could be summoned on their turn to get rid of their best field spell to prevent them from getting targeted and affected. As long as you're able to ensure that those monsters can be messed with in the battle phase, they can never beat you. It's in the same method of playing against Dino. If you're able to have Blackbeard out, you just wait until battle phase for that UCT to go off and try to murder you. You're gonna get rid of him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Ultimately, it's probably like just droplets that's going to be a worrisome for the deck.
In terms of being good or bad?
No,
What
like
about
if Tenpai has it, is what he's saying.
like Econ? I see potential.
Econ definitely does see potential. I was actually testing that out earlier today. I like that card a lot. If I had to mention anything else, we already talked about Lava Golem and that jazz. I've got to learn a little more about the Ubella matchup because the big thing we want to make sure, like, and this is for any player in any deck, the big thing you want to ensure is that your side deck, every single piece of it has some use that you can place it on safely.
Shouldn't the Ubel matchup be super easy though?
Yeah, I mean, unironically, it's just, oh no, my monsters are in defense. Ooh.
I mean, especially for this deck. Because
Like, oh
can't you just
no.
go into... Yeah, you just go into Mork, right? And you just keep
Yeah, like, why
Morking
are...
away the Ubels
Yeah,
until they're out of them?
Yeah, that's really it. That and you just keep milling them out. Also,
Yeah.
slumber just makes it so like, my monster can't swing. Oh wait, you can't swing. Oh no, I have skill drain. Here's a bunch of cards that say no to you. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what Konami was thinking saying, hey, one anti-spell fragrance, by the way. That was crazy in every regard, in my opinion.
Feels
Yeah.
like it's nothing, to be honest. It's just like, what did it do? Nothing.
Well, we got that Snake Eye card coming out, right? The Dia Bellstar. That
Oh,
is
it's out already.
Yeah, she's out. She's
Yep.
in the Tempai set. Yeah.
yeah.
Speaking of the
Uh,
new set, what do you think of the
That card
light?
is awesome. I can't lie to you. I feel like it's gonna help facilitate like nice interactions in the battle phase.
I
For
was gonna
sure.
ask, what do you think of the Shining Sark stuff? So you seem like you're a fan of the anime, so I figured you'd have a feeling about that deck, at least somewhat, because it's a Yudi's deck.
oh, the Shining Sarcophagus deck?
Yeah.
Um, I mean, it's an engine. That's like really all I can really say about it. It's like, it's okay.
It just gets you to a level 8 in a board clear.
Like, alright, I guess.
I've been playing
Here's
it
Freezing
as
Curses.
like a pseudo Dread Maju deck, where you just go second with board breakers, and then you just drop that with like Gizmek, Desires, and Eater, and just like one shot people because it has Dread Maju's effect on it.
So here's the thing though, can like these monsters sound themselves out? Or like, what's their whole shtick?
Alright, so the shtick is the big guy, the boss monster, the Gandora. He's a board clear that gets Dread Maji's effect, but it's for both players, so he gets 300 for each card that's banished, and then he has his board clear effect is pop everything and banish it, and then so he basically just goes, okay, the whole board gets cleared. He summons himself, and he's searchable. He's searched by the Shining Sarcophagus, and then you have two cards that search the Shining Sarcophagus. So you just kind of turbo into him, nuke the board, and then just kill him because he's going to be at a huge attack stat. And then he summons out one of the other ones from deck, and the other one gets 500 attack for each card that was destroyed. So just like a super easy, like almost one card lethal.
If you're gonna play gold, if that's the case and you're all about that, it sounds like an FTK deck that needs more, that can play more board breakers. Because it looks to me that there's no extra deck, right?
I mean, like it's relevant, but like mostly just for like forcing out other interruptions before you drop your boss monster and just end the game.
Well, I was gonna say like Super Poly, in my opinion, I think is like
Yep,
kind of the
I'm playing
craziest
that.
spells. Like Super Poly, you've got the option of going for a bunch of random link monsters that are like, hey, no playing. IP, of course, or excuse me, SB, of course, because everybody likes to banish. Um, hmm. Unironically, you could also run then. You oh man, you could run the Horus engine with Shining Sarcophagus. Then I don't know, run Magician Souls. Use those for fodder after you get a bunch of board monsters out on the board. Because
Yeah,
Horus is all about like spamming the board state, but Gold Sarcophagus or Shining Sarcophagus is all about like board wipe, right?
yeah. It's basically either it's a board wipe or an OTK. Basically, just like board wipe them and punch them, and that's it. So as long as you can just like force stuff before that and like make optimal plays, like the way because you gains attack for each banished card. So I'm playing cards like Desires, Gizmek Orochi, and like Eater of Millions to like be an extender that also like sets up your kill shot.
Yeah, because then like if you're able to run a Horus engine though, you're able to give yourself more advantage on board breakers. Because
I'm
Horus
playing
engine monsters are
Shifter
able to protect
just
that.
because Shifter's like Shifter. And it just naturally conflicts with the Horus engine, which kind of sucks.
Hmm. Well, I
But
mean,
like,
this deck doesn't seem. Does this deck need its normal summon? That's the real question.
it doesn't need it per se, but one of the normal summons is one of your searchers.
Hmm.
So it's like one of your consistency pieces is a normal summon.
It's an idea. We gotta work on that more. Jacob, do you have any other questions, my man?
No, that was actually it for Plunders.
Excellent. Yeah, to anybody who needs help, join the shipyard. I'm always around. Feel free to DM. I'm always here to help. Answer questions.
All right, Douglas. Thanks for stopping on and giving us a look at this deck. Then.
And thank you for having me and having a chance to redeem myself. Those videos definitely did not do me a ton of justice.
I'll have to watch those.
Oh boy. Oh, you poor guy. You will experience so much cringe, but the cringe shall set you free. And
All
with
right,
that in
Douglas.
mind,
I thought
I
a lot
hope
of
you
people had like
gentlemen.
good. I thought it was a lot of like good positive like responses to it for the most part though, from
Yeah,
what I
no,
saw.
it felt good though. It felt good. It just, a lot of people are like, "Come on, don't stop the energy," and it's like, I'm just me, dude. I want to have fun. Like anybody who's upset saying this is cringe, like get bent. I don't care. Like I'm still having fun. Who cares? All right, gentlemen. I hope you have a lovely night. Enjoy.
You
Bye,
too.
everyone.
Take care. Bye. All right.
All right.
Thanks for that.
Do you want to help? Are you? You don't reach tomorrow. Do you want to help me build the Plunder adventure deck using title?
Ugh. It's literally just Plunder Adventure thrown title.
I know, but like, you just do standard ratios, right?
Yeah.
Two,
You for the adventure build, you bump up your Bluebeards and Redbeards and stuff.
yeah. Do you think 2 Redbeard and then
3 blue, 3 black eyes.
yep, and
Yeah.
then 3 golden
Something
hair?
like that.
I think I don't have black eyes. I just have to order those. No one ever has them.
It's so good though.
It just didn't get reprinted as an ultra, so no one has it because it's just like a bulk common from a barely open